Welcome back to the channel, Book Dragons. I am so glad you're here with me today. It is time for my monthly update, and I'm so excited to share with you what a great month I had in June and my plans for July, and we'll talk about some of the highlights from June. You know the drill. First thing first, I want to get this out of the way right up front. I have completed my book. That means that I am ready in the next few weeks to start sending out advanced reader copies, or ARCs for short. You've probably heard the term. And I am working on setting up a Google form so that you can request an ARC if you are so desirous of getting one. So if you are a content creator, blogger, things like that, and you want a copy of my book to review, you can get one. I will be making a community post soon with that information. So just wanted to throw that out there. That's not part of the regularly scheduled content, but it is something that you might find interesting. So I hope you do. All right, we're going to get to June, and I am going to put my eyes on here so that we can talk about everything that I read in June. And we are going to start with Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff. This was a carryover from May for me. I wasn't quite able to finish it in May just because May was crazy, so I finished it in June, and I absolutely love this book, guys. It is just as good, or, in my opinion, even better than Empire of the Vampire. And Empire of the Vampire was one of my top books of 2023. Just an absolute banger, guys. So for this to be even better, I am just so happy I read this, and I highly recommend, if you have not checked out this series, you seriously need to. So I finished that. I also finished reading The Crystal Cave by Mary Stewart. This is the first book in her Arthurian saga, well, the Merlin trilogy, really. It's from the first-person perspective of Merlin. It wasn't great, guys. I'll have a review coming out for it soon, so I'll talk more about it then. But this was a buddy read with Alyssa over at Into the Heartwild. You need to check out her channel, guys, if you've not checked out her channel yet. She's awesome, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing the buddy read with her. We had a lot of great discussions. So the next book that I finished was The Lost Metal, and that is the final book in Mistborn Era 2, guys, and this is my favorite Sanderson series so far. Even better than Stormlight Archive, and I love Stormlight Archive, but Mistborn Era 2 was better in my opinion. I did do a full video on why you should read Mistborn Era 2, so I will leave that in the cards at the end if you want to check out that video. If you don't want spoilers for Mistborn Era 1, don't go watch that video. Hold off until you've read Mistborn Era 1. And then I also completed Mistborn Secret History. That is a novella that spoils quite a bit of what actually went on behind the scenes in Mistborn Era 1 and a little bit of Mistborn Era 2. So I wanted to wait until I'd read everything Mistborn before I read Secret History. And now I have read everything in the Cosmere, guys, so far. Book 5 of Stormlight Archive comes out in December. So until then, I have read everything in the Cosmere. And it's been a wild ride, guys. It's been so much fun. So after all that was said and done, I had time left over at the end of the month. And I still had to finish reading through my book so that I could go in and make all the final edits. And I did complete my book, and I made all the edits, so that was all done. And then I still had time left over. So what did I do? I picked up my first manga, guys. That's right. I got to read my first manga, which is Volume 1 of Vinland Saga. And I have seen the first 2 seasons of this, and I did not want to wait another 2 to 3 years for them to animate the next season, so I decided it's high time I start reading the manga. And oh, I am so glad I did. I love this series so much, and I am soon going to be reading Volume 2 at some point, so there you go. So That is everything I read in June. Now we're going to move on to what I plan to read in July. And the first one I want to talk about there is Golden Fool by Robin Hobb. That is the second book in the Tawny Man trilogy, which is the third trilogy in the realm of the Elderlings. And I am so excited for this book, guys. I loved Fool's Errand, and I can't wait to get to Golden Fool. I am buddy reading this book with Danielle over at Bookara, and I'm so excited to do that with her and continue my journey in the realm of the Elderlings. The next book I'm going to be reading is Gunmetal Gods by Zamil Akhtar. I am so excited for this book. The cover is breathtaking. You can see it up here on the screen. Fantastic, guys. And this was my patron pick for the third quarter of 2024 on a recommendation from the patron that picked it for me. I'm doing it as a Patreon buddy read. So if you are one of my patrons, we are all going to join in this buddy read together. If you want to, of course. And this is a good opportunity for me to shout out my patrons. I really appreciate you so much. I'm thankful for all of your support, and I'm really excited to do this buddy read with you guys. So if you're going to join in the buddy read, I think we're going to have a blast reading this book. I've heard nothing but good things about Gunmetal Gods. And then I am going to be reading the next Hercule Poirot novel with my friend Mona Lisa at Mona Lisa Reads. And that, guys, is Murder on the Links. I'm so excited to continue my journey reading through Hercule Poirot's books. And I've read several of them when I was really young, but I don't think I've read this one. It really doesn't sound familiar at all. So I'm super excited to read this with Mona Lisa, and we're just going to have a blast. So it is time for me to pick a book from my Stein of Power. Here it is, guys, the Stein of Power. And this is an ongoing project that I have to read one unread book off of my physical bookshelf every month. So we're gonna do this, guys. We're gonna see what I get here, and see what comes up for me on the list. All right, I've got it right here in my hot little hands. I don't want to drop my Stein there. And let's see what we've got. Ooh, we've got The Legend of Black Jack. Let's see where I have that here. Oh, there it is. All right, guys. The Legend of Black Jack by A.R. Witham. This is a self-published novel. The author was kind enough to send me a free copy of the book. I've heard a lot of good things about this book, and I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm going to go into it blind, hopefully, and see what I think of it. So this is pretty cool. The Legend of Black Jack by A.R. Witham. All right, guys, so I'm going to set that down right there. And we're going to talk about some of my highlights from the month of June. I'm not going to tell you everything I did, but I'll give you some highlights. And the first thing I want to talk about is my most recent episode of Chasm Friends. I had J.R. Carroll on the channel this month, and we had a great time talking about books, a lot of author stuff, which I thought was really cool, talking about the writing process and our journey of becoming authors and stuff. So that was really awesome. I had a blast chatting with him. If you have not read his books, the More Than Human series, More Than a Vampire is the first book, you should really check it out. And he's got other great books in the series. He's working on a new one as well that'll probably be out in the near future. And I had a great time talking with JR, so I hope you'll check out his channel as well. So I'll leave links to all the people I've tagged in the description below so you can easily find their channel. I also finished watching Monster with my son. That's been a long time coming. We've been slowly working through it on his school breaks and everything. I absolutely loved Monster, and it was quite an unexpected ending. But I liked it. I really did. And it's anime about a serial killer if you're not familiar with it. So it's just such a good story. And maybe one of these days I'll read the manga as well. I also started watching The Boys with my son, and we have currently binged up through the midway point of season 3. So we're moving through it pretty fast and really enjoying The Boys. Although I tell you what, guys, this series is really messed up. If you like dark superheroes and you like grimdark stuff, I mean, this is some really abysmal stuff, guys. And Homelander, don't get me started on Homelander. That guy is just something else. I started watching House of the Dragon, really enjoying House of the Dragon, guys. I'm excited to see where this season goes. One thing that was really cool that I did this month is I got to go to a costume party. So some of my friends were having a joint birthday party. They're both Geminis, and it was a costume party. So because it's Geminis, you have to dress up as things that go together. So I dressed up as the Mad Hatter, and I went with the Cheshire Cat, and you can see a picture here on the screen of my costume. I hope you like it. I have not dressed up in a long time, guys. Or, well, it's officially called cosplaying, I know. So I have not cosplayed in a long time, and this was so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed being the Mad Hatter. And at some point, I will read Alice in Wonderland. I've never read it before, but when I do, I will do a review for it, and I will dress up in my full outfit as the Mad Hatter, just for you guys. So look out for that sometime in the future. I don't know when, but if you want to see it and you don't want to miss out on notifications for it, subscribe to my channel, all right? All right, and the final thing I want to talk about is 2 adaptations that I just heard about. And the first one is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. That has been picked up by Studio Laika, which is the company that produced the stop-motion animation for Neil Gaiman's Coraline. And that was such a great film, guys, so I'm really excited to see what they do with Piranesi. And then the guy that scripted the adaptation of Coraline is also set to work on a stop-motion production of Ocean at the End of the Lane, and I am so excited, guys. This is my favorite Neil Gaiman book. It's my favorite book of all time, and for it to get the same treatment as Coraline, I am just ecstatic. And it sounds like he favors working with Studio Laika to do Ocean at the End of the Lane as well, although he is shopping it around to other outlets also. So we'll see what happens, but it would be great if Studio Laika got to do Ocean at the End of the Lane as well. That way it would be a companion piece with Coraline, and they'd all be in the same studio, and everything would just be right with the world. So I am so excited to hear about that. And that's all I've got for you guys. That is my monthly update, and I would love to know your thoughts. What did you think about all the stuff I got up to in June and what I'm planning to read for July? And I would love to know what you got up to in the month of June as well and what your plans are for July. Chat with me in the comments. And guys, until next time, make sure you're reading more books. I will talk with you soon.